I also want to preface this with a very important point. I'm not a grip. I work as a distributor and a salesperson. Always use a professional grip, an IATSE union grip to do rigging. Alright, thanks. So I've spread out everything here that I'm going to use for the tower build. In the air rig grip kit, you would get 2 3-plates and a 2-plate here. You would get your vacuum pump. I'm going to use the twist clamp. Most importantly, the tow hitch to build everything. I've got my air hoses sitting over here. Because I'm doing a tower build, I'm going to require an extra 3-plate, so I've got an additional 3-plate here. Here's the pipe that I'm going to use. A lot of you will be going, that's really small. It's 1-inch speed rail. The reason that Thomas and Frank from BLACK-TEK originally went with 1-inch was for lightness. It was strong enough to do the rig that they required. It was and it was reducing the weight. But they've now come up with the universal clamp so that you can actually come up with any size pipe that you want. For the purposes of the demonstration, I'll be using 1-inch. In here we have the 1-inch right angle adapters. So there's nothing that you can't make angle wise. With that little combination there, I can come up with anything on the rig. I think that's it. The only tool that I'm going to require is this Allen key, which comes in the kit. I've got my level there, and that's it. I have some cleaner, but I just cleaned the car, so I think we should be good with that. That's everything. Then at the end we'll do the tower, and I'll put the tower up here, and we'll cut away and show you that as well separately. Alright, let's do it. And I'm doing this in time lapse as well, so that we can cut in and see the whole thing. Hopefully it makes sense. We start off with this with the tow hitch. This is coming in here. So we start the build here with the tow hitch, building off here righty-tighty. This way, all the force is coming down this way, pushing it that way, making it tight. The basic build I'm going to do is coming up here. I'm going to come up here with a post. I'm going to have my strength one from here coming along here. Then I'm going to have a brace coming along here, and that will be the bottom of it, up the top. I'll have one going along here, 2 triangles up there, and I'm also going to put a 3rd bracing triangle up there. I'm just going to put the plates roughly where they're going to be. I put the vacuum pump here and I engage the battery so that when I do need to actually get some adhesion and suction there, it's just ready to go, Bob, and that'll be my first point. So I'm just getting my first spot here, this is going to be the support pipe. So I'm going to plug in to here, and then that'll make this one active. 1, 2, and I'll get a bit of strength off of that. So you can hear that there, so it's strong. I can still move it around a bit. I've just got it kind of loose for now, and it's sort of giving me a figuring out point of what I'm going to do. Now that I'm roughly where I want to be there, I've got a bit of a level, I'm going to work out on my bracing this way. The second plate I'm putting here to give myself bracing this way. So I've got bracing this way and this way now. This here, I've just run the feed through the pipe there to keep it out of the way. I'm going to run it through this one here. Keeps it out of the way. And then I'm going to engage it in this one, and once I do, you'll hear it. When I plug it in. So now it's finding suction on this one. then I'm going to get the most strength the lowest I go down. I'll finalise all of those, but that gives me a starting point there, and then I'll check my level on that. That's pretty good. So I'm going to lock that off now. So with all of that locked off, I'm now rock solid, and we're connected completely to the chassis of the car. We've got our torsional forks coming this way, and we're solid that way, and we've got ourselves connected to the chassis, so we're solid with our up-down. That's just using 2 of those and the tow hitch. That's our base. Now that we've got this all set up and we're solid, we're going to set up the roof. And now I'll engage this in here. And I've got my first one set now from here. Just going to hold on those because there's a bit of finagling to do. Now, so far I've got power from this one, to this one, to this one. I'm just going to run that off there, so I'm going to come out from this guy, and I run it through the pipe there, keep it out of the way. Nice, neat, clean build. And that's going to come into this one here. You hear that? They're from suction. And they've found it there. I'm still going to leave this a little bit loose because there's a bit of finagling that goes on with these ones coming up here. So just keep that loose for now. Basically what I've done now is I've made myself a solid platform. That's our base there. And then this is our top. It's not, I'm not going to shake it. The suctions are there, but I haven't engaged it up there because I'm still going to build these long ones off here, but I'll build those now. Right, so now it's the exciting part where we're going to add the tower. This is the tower 16, this is a shot over rig, so the cable is loomed inside there, ready to go. I've got that. I've got my 24 volt, 28 volt Cine Power battery there. And I've got my cables here, I've got my power cable here, I've got my digital handset cable here, and I've got my handset here. So, let's throw on the tower. So the nice thing about the Tower 16 is it's because it's so lightweight, it'll actually hold itself there while I get myself set up to do my top bracing now on the sides. This is the point where you're going to start getting yourself just rough levels this way and levels this way before you're locking off everything. So what we've got now is we've got our rough where we want to be. Now then we'd have ourselves a lining up that way, it's not bad. We're lining up that way, pretty happy with that. Tighten those off. So these are nice and solid here, but we're going to make one more brace coming from this down to here, just to give ourselves a bit more bracing. For this last little piece, I'm going to use the twist clamp because it's a lovely quick one to go as your little luxury one for the end. It'll just join them up really nicely. So we're getting pretty close now, and it's sort of getting time for the finishing little touches in terms of setting up this, cleaning up cables, setting this so that our driver can see it. Now it's time to mount the shock absorber arm on the tower. Before I mount the arm, I'm just going to bring it down, so I'm going to power it up, get us all ready. So in the car, I'll pop the battery. So now we're set up here, so we're pretty much good to go. This is basically how we drive to location. You know, we can build up at base camp, and we can build our camera on here and have it here, and then when we want to shoot, we're going to remove the pins and spin around, and we'll be ready to go. But basically we're built and we're ready to go. And that is about it. That's the Tower 16. So I'll take you through now with the basic setup with the tower. First thing we're going to do is switch it on. When I switch it on, it's going to go to its calibrate position, which is up the top there. So the handset's coming on. This is coming on. It wants to go to its calibrate position, which is at the top. So we'll just wait for it to do that. It's important not to touch anything while this is happening. Normally I actually store it in the case with it up there. It's just I was shooting something earlier. And it's ready to go. So we've got a few different functions. I've done close-ups of this, but I just thought I'd show it to you in a bit of a wider shot. I can change the speed, bring it right down. So I'm at 27%. And what I might do is I might bring the ramps. I'll increase the speed for you, but what I'll do is the ramp at the moment is that there's just a hard stop. I'll make that into a much softer stop. When I take my hand off, it comes gliding into that stop. So you can dial those in, you can dial in the speed however you want it, you can dial in the stops and the ramps however you want it. The next aspect of it that's good is you've got 4 different programs that you can put in there, program stops. And you can actually make it so it has coloured keys to correspond to the stop there. And it will just go through those each time. I'm going to increase that speed a little bit. And we'll just do that a little bit faster. Those moves. One always important function is setting your limits at the top and the bottom here. So let's say that for whatever reason that was our safe zone. I can set a limit there. And I will set that, and now when I'm using it, it won't go past it. It'll stop there every time. And there's a line on the screen that'll tell you where it is. And we can do that for the top as well. So if we wanted to have this as our top limit here, I'll make that our limit for the top. So that's set now, so it's going to go from roughly there to sort of there. Yeah. And it won't go anywhere else in between those two because those limits are on. And you can see that they're on because you've got the lines on there. And another great function is the offset function. So at the moment when we're looking on the screen, it's telling us the travel. I'll just take those limits off to show you. So at the moment our travel is from 0. This is giving us the travel on the tower to 4 foot 3 and a bit. So that's our travel. What might be useful is camera might for some reason say, listen, we actually want to know what the lens height is. So let's give us 5 feet on the lens height. So 5 feet's there, so I'm going to come down a little bit to there. Dun, dun, dun. Let's say that's right on the money for 5 feet. Then what I would do is I would go in here and I would set this in the offset, and I would make that on our screen 5 feet. So now when we're using this on the handset, and you'll see this in the close-up I did, this actually gives us the lens height here. I go in, I go to offset, and I've set that, and so now it's telling me that that's 5'2", that's 5'10", 6'10", 7'8", up to a max of 8'4", and then the bottom is going to be 4'1". So it's just a different way that you can use it, so that the person that's using the handset has different ways of doing it. So you've got the limits, you've got the programmed stops, you've got the ramps, you've got the speed, and then there's a whole bunch of other little ones that I'll show you in the close-ups. Run through the menu for you here. Hopefully you can see a bit of it. Let's go home. So at the moment, well, I'll take you through bit by bit. So this one here is our speed. If I hold it down, I can adjust the speed. Tower will be slower. Take that back up to show you the ramp. But this one here is the ramp. We can increase the ramp, so it's going to drop into it slower when we come off, and ramp into those stops, nice and soft. Now when we press this button, we're in the user mode, so it's got 4 points set in at the moment, 4 marks. And you can see the little coloured arrows there that they correspond to. We can turn those lights off if we don't want them on by going into the settings and checking that. And now they're just going back to regular lights if you're getting reflections or something like that. I like them. I'm going to put them back on. So now you can just tell someone, go to the blue one. Ding. And they go to the blue one. Right. One other good thing, you'll want to set your limits. So we go in here and go to limits, into that. Oops, sorry, I'll just jump out of that. I'll clear the limits first of all, go home. So what I'll do is I'll drive to where the limit is, and we'll say we're going to make the limit, let's say we're going to make the limit there. Go to limits, and that's going to be the new top limit, so I'll set that, and it changes it to 4'1.5", and the bottom one we'll drive down, and we'll say just below there is where we're going to make that bottom limit. So I'll hold that, go to limits, enter that, the bottom one, I will set that now, and it's set itself at 6.8 inches. And when we go back into the menu here, you'll see as we're going up and down a little red line. That's meaning the bottom limit, and up the top there's a red line there, and that's the top limit. It also lets us know that the limits are on. We can take the limits off by going back to the limits, into that, and clear that top limit and clear that bottom limit. Now when we go back, we can run all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom. Something that'll happen sometimes is a director or an operator will say, just take me very slowly up towards my first mark or my second mark, because I want to see maybe if I want to change it. We can do that, and at the moment it's going straight through them, but we have a nifty little function here where we can go in here and we can go stop at marker. Now what that means is when we go up or down, I'm going to go down now towards the red mark, and it'll stop automatically. So I need to press it again to go to the next one. It'll stop at the next one. So it's just a nice little feature, stop at marker, if you want to use it. If you don't want to use it, we'll just take it off. take off. And now when we go through slowly up and down, it's not stopping at those markers. Now one of the really great features is the offset feature. What that essentially means is that at the moment when we're looking at it on our control thing, it's giving us the distance of travel of the tower. So it's starting at 0 basically, and our amount of travel is 4'4". What we might find is that the operator says, I actually want to work off lens height. So what we'd do is we'd drive the tower to where we found, we'd have the AC mark the lens at 5 foot, so the sensor's at 5 foot there. Then what we'd do is we'd go in and we'd go into offset, and then we would change that position on the screen to 5 foot. And what this will do now when we go back to home, that's telling us exactly where 5 foot is, so our screen is actually working with that new offset system. There's a little symbol over here that you can see with their two things slightly misaligned. That's letting us know that it's an offset mode. So when we're going down, it's giving us that lens height that the operator wanted. And the offset can be used for other things. It can be given as a point marker or whatever it is, however it's best for you guys to use it, or women to use it, but there you go. So now if I go back in and I go back to offsets and I reset, now it's gone back to just the distance of drive of the tower, of where the tower is. That's that one. Now we can go into the settings. We've done limits, we've done the offset, we've gone to the settings here. We've done the key illumination, we've done the colored keys. Screensaver is just dependent on how long you want the display to be on or off. It can, you know, if you're getting reflections in the car or something like that, you can change it. Voltage warning, we could put it in if we were worried about voltage. We could change where it's reading the power that it's getting from the battery and say, actually give us a voltage warning at 23, and we'll set that, and now when we go back it'll change it and put it in 23 for us. Units, you could change it if you wanted to the British, so you could have it in millimeters. I like to have it in feet and inches. There it is there in feet and inches for us. And then system info or service, if you wanted to update it, just enter the Wi-Fi, away you go. Or the, you'd also have the firmware updates in there, which it just happens via your Wi-Fi connection. And that's pretty much it. You're good to go.